last night?
No.
No, look, yesterday we had a bit of a problem with the brakes, and the rear brake line broke at the end of the straight around about 270 kilometres an hour, so it was a little bit character building. But yeah, this is a result of what we brought back with us.
It looks like you've pulled at least sort of 10 or 11 buckets out of the car.
Well, we couldn't lift the spoiler off. That's how heavy it was. Like, it took 3 of us to take the spoiler off. But look, we went out after that and qualified second, so it was good, yeah.
Daniel Jamieson will take you for one of the wildest tin-top rides in one of the fastest cars in the country too, as we check out round 3 of the Australian Sports Sedan Championship, thanks to Reward Insurance at Oran Park. And Tony Ricciardello has taken pole from Darren Hossack, who we just spoke to. Kerry Bailey third fastest. He was 4/10 slower. The 2 top drivers separated by hundredths of a second. And the fastest of the non-V8 powered entries, the rotary, if you like, of Terry Shield, was 7th fastest in this one. A good round of entries too here, Garth Tander.
Yeah, lots of cars here at Oran Park for the Sports Sedan events. Good to see you. There's a bit of a resurgence in Sports Sedans now.
Jamieson at the back of the grid, so we'll keep an eye on his progress. Set for a start here. Ricciardello blasts away, trying to get traction was Hossack, and he struggled. Bailey has made a good start though.
Yeah, good start by Ricciardello. Look at the lead he's already got going down into the kink into turn 1, and Hossack into second, already having to look defensive from Kerry Bailey.
Field sorting themselves out as Jamieson here has got a tough job. What's it like for a driver in this position who's trying to get as far forward as he possibly can and quickly?
Yeah, it's very difficult. Look, it seems like there's a wall of cars in front of you, but it's always important to not come into contact with any of the other cars, because you don't want to bend your steering or any of the front end geometry early in the race.
Ray Ayton is in trouble there. That's in the Calibra, and that might be too difficult to get out of.
Yeah, it looks like there's a bit of white smoke coming out there amongst all the dust, so...
Oh, look at the flame there on the outside of the car. He's had something big let go there.
Yeah, and with the engine in the sports sedans generally sitting right next to you, I can see why Ray was exiting stage left fairly quickly there.
No wonder. Out in front, though, it's Ricciardello as we take another look at the start. This is from Jamieson's viewpoint, and boy, oh boy, how busy is this?
Yeah, plenty of cars in front of you, and obviously Jamieson's had a poor qualifying, and he's having to fight his way through the field. And have a look at how many cars he's picked off already.
Start, yeah, into the kink, and he's picked his way through a stack of customers already, but at this point he's decided to take it a little bit on the easier side. Jamieson has a big lunge there at the kink, and it pays off too.
Yeah, straight underneath the Jeff Barnes, classic passing manoeuvre under heavy brakes, and looks like Dean Randall's trying to get amongst the action as well in the Saab.
Looking left and right is Randall, but unsuccessful there so far. In qualifying terms, Randall was probably a little bit further down the order than he would like. He was 10th quickest, only turned 4 laps in the opening qualifying session. Ricciardello, by contrast, turned 9, and what a sensational time it was too, a 1:07.5, and he and Hossack were separated by hundredths of a second. The view from the rear of Daniel Jamieson's car.
Looks like this battle's not over yet. Jeff Barnes fighting back after Jamieson got him earlier in the race, and setting him up for a move over the dogleg here.
Brave place to try and have a go at it, but another opportunity down the inside here if Barnes can do it, but it looks like Jamieson's got the line covered.
Yeah, covered the line going down into Momo. And up onto the main straight here. Looks like Barnes struggling a little bit for power down, coming up onto the start straight. And look at the power of this Jamieson Jaguar, plenty of it.
The awesome sound of the big V8 as it roars down the front straight at Oran Park. Kerry Bailey, who was 3rd quickest in qualifying, right now sits in 2nd position as another Calibra makes its way into pit lane. So unfortunately, the Calibra ranks not having a good day, and big lose there for Randall, and who's he collected in the process? That's off the bridge.
Tony Wilson in the Commodore coming together with Dean Randall there. Getting late in the race now, and cars are starting to move around, tyres are getting hot.
Barnes has had a move down the inside here at Momo. Has it paid off? There's been contact with Jamieson, and crunch into the wall. Barnes has kept going, but Jamieson looks like he was the big loser there.
Yeah, small tap into the rear, and with the concrete wall so close coming under the main straight of Momo, wasn't a lot of room left for Jamieson to go. And have a look at the car, it's fairly well bent up there.
That is a shame too. He was going so well. He limps it across the line, and that's probably with good reason too, because the race looks like it's been declared. That incident involving Randall. Let's have another look on the Optimax replay here.
Yeah, Randall just loses the rear end, and Wilson tries to get around the back of him, but doesn't, runs out of room, and small clip on the rear, but these cars made of fiberglass, so it looks fairly bad.
Now this is the other incident which has brought an early halt to this race. Barnes endeavours to sneak down the inside at Momo. And the slight touch was all it needed to send him understeering into the wall.
Yeah, it really didn't look like there was a lot in that. They were probably trying to give each other some room, but late in the race now, with the tyres starting to be a bit squeezy, both cars were drifting, a small contact, and like I said, there's not a lot of room there on the exit, and unfortunately just collects the wall.
Oh, Jamieson, a gut-wrenching end to his race, but it's a good result for Ricky Adello.
Tony, you move into the championship lead with a lap record as well in race one. Geez, that was a good drive.
Yeah, we got a really good start, and we just held a 3-second lead over everyone, and they were dicing in the back, and we just kept out of trouble.
You must feel comfortable about the rest of the championship now, but you really just can't let your guard down, can you? Anything can happen.
Nah, one more DNF, and I think it'd be over for the championship. So we just got to keep it consistent, stay at the front, out of trouble, and we should be looking good.
Well, the fans here at Oran Park traditionally enjoy their sports sedan racing. Time now to take a look at some of the finer points of these machines.
It's like a roller coaster ride. When you hit the throttle, these things are, you hit it at the wrong time, you know you've hit the wrong pedal.
Everything's shaking, there's noise everywhere, coming from every direction, things flying in the window.
We sacrifice driver comfort for outright handling and speed.
They may have big wings and big tyres, but with 680 horsepower, sports sedans are still a handful of raw muscle. But think about driver comfort for just a second. In most cases, they're nestled in here right alongside the engine. Now, cuddling a small block Chev is the best way to achieve a perfect 50-50 weight balance.
We've got a mid-mounted Chevy 6-litre next to me. She's pulling around 700 horsepower and about 550 foot-pounds of torque. Normally they're at the front of the car, but with it in the middle of the car you get better weight distribution.
We like listening to 87 AC/DC concerts. Surely just with the noise having it there, I'm surprised you could still hear it.
Well, I have been to an AC/DC concert, so it's not far off it, yeah. We use the earplugs. We can't use the radio. We can't use pit communication because of the noise. It's just too loud to hear the fella in pit lane talking.
Well, the noise is not really the problem. It's the temperature, mate. This is the best heater ever invented. It has got so many BTUs we've lost count. You hit the gas and the temperature goes up, and so does the back tyres.
Very good.
Yeah, it's great, yeah.
Where did you find that the heat affects you most? I suppose that left leg starts to roast.
Yeah, left leg ends up being like the roast of a rack of lamb.
When you get out of the car after a 15-lap race, you're sort of cooking there. But you get used to it. It goes numb, so then you can't feel it after that.
Luckily, the laps are only 15, so you're only in there for half an hour and you can get out and have a cold drink. Great cars. For the performance of the car, they are astronomically quick. Holden dealer team would spend more on catering than what we spend on the whole car.
We can't afford to run a supercar, obviously, but these are pretty close and a lot of fun. Good for a sprint race, but you're always pretty happy to get out of it afterwards.
It's nice to have a bit more room, but anyway. Got to ride the horse you're on, I guess.
Daniel Jamieson and the team have had to work pretty hard between Heat 1 and Heat 2 to repair the damage, and he will carry our trackside onboard camera for the reward insurance-backed second race in round 3 of the Australian Sports Sedan Championship. Different looking front row, same pole man, Ricky Adello on top, but it's Bailey who joins him on the front row this time. And the man who was with him on the front row in the opening race is on the second row of the grid. We're talking about Darren Hossack, of course, in the V8-powered Saab Sports Sedan. Ray Ayton, who had dramas in the first race, will be off the back of the grid for this one. Garth Tander joins us again in commentary. Will Bailey be able to make the most of this front row starting position? Looks as though someone had a bit of a move on the line there.
Yeah, it looks like Andrew Fawcett in the New Zealand Trans Am was rolling a little at the start line. Be interesting to see what the officials declare, whether that was a jump start or not.
Barnes has made a good start too, by the looks of things, as the field come down through the kink for the first time. Everyone looks to have gotten through there fairly cleanly. Jamieson right in the thick of the bunch. Someone's gone off to the inside there. And I guess on the opening lap of the race, that is bound to happen. It gets a bit of a concertina down there at times.
Yeah, very, very tight down, going down into turn 2 here at Oran Park, and generally the guys tend to run out of room. It looks like that's what happened there.
That is Glenn Taylor, and he's not been able to rejoin the circuit in that orange Commodore car 19, so looks as though he's out of commission for the rest of this one. But a different leader, Kerry Bailey, has grabbed this one by the scruff of the neck, and he wants to upset the race result. We saw that Ricciardello grabbed the championship lead at the end of the previous race. We jump on board with Jamison. Have a listen.
Hard on the throttle now up onto the main straight, and you can see that Jamison's having a little trouble closing the gap onto the advance in front of him.
Through the kink and into the left-hander. Hossack sits in 4th position. There is Taylor's car. He's out of this one and will take no further part. Spectating as Bailey comes blasting past. Ricciardello right in underneath his rear wing.
Yeah, Kerry Bailey not making it easy for Tony Ricciardello to get by here, nor should he. There's a championship on the line here, and these guys are going hard for that.
Jump on board with Jamison now. The Domain Homes entry as he goes across the bridge. And you can hear them feather the throttle through there, Garth.
Yeah, very, very gentle on the throttle. A lot of short shifting of gears, and just trying extremely hard to get all the power to the ground. There's some 700 odd horsepower in those cars these days.
Now the Optimax replay. Oh, brief contact from Ricciardello. He hits the wall. Will it be enough to cause him any handling problems? Doesn't look like it. The next lap around, he finds a way past Kerry Bailey.
Yeah, good move. Hard on the brakes into Momo. It's a classic passing spot here at Oran Park, and Kerry Bailey obviously wasn't able to hold him out, and now looks like Tony's able to pull a small gap on Kerry. This team have really got this car well sorted, haven't they? I mean, we've seen it in years gone by and in previous rounds. The Optimax replay again shows you the overtaking manoeuvre on Bailey. Big lunge under brakes. Yeah, big lunge, but Kerry was smart enough to let Tony go. He realised that Tony was faster, and the wise move was to get Tony through and live to fight another day.
These are the giant killers of sports sedans up against the might of the V8s, the little rotaries. Lyndon Reith-Muller and Lichtenberger battling away here. Fastest of the RX-7s was Terry Shields, 7th quickest to the opening qualifying session. Dramas here, that looks like Stinson in one of the Calibras, and he's clouded the wall.
Yeah, we've seen a few guys get away with giving the wall a bit of a tap here, but it looks like Stinson's giving the wall a lot of a tap.
The Optimax replay might clear things up for us here. Gee, he's running right along the wall.
And it was quite early in the corner there, so I wouldn't be surprised if there was a component failure in the front suspension or something like that caused the accident.
Well, that has brought out the red flag, so officials declaring this one early. That's a shame for Kerry Bailey, who was chasing hard, but it's Ricciardello who will bank the win for the 2nd time today.
Kerry, so agonisingly close to Ricciardello.
Agonising is the right word. We were almost there. Actually, he caught me out over the back, over the dog leg. I didn't think he'd come down there, but he's very quick over the 2nd stage, and he caught me out, and I thought I had his measure towards the end. His tyres were getting a little bit used, and I thought I might have had a go at him under brakes, but it just didn't happen. Well, the race was cut short by 1 or 2 laps, so we messed up a little bit there.
Now, a quick reminder, Sunday, September 22nd, the next episode of Trackside, we will review the awesome year that's been in the Konica V8 Supercar Series. Record-breaking performance in Konica terms. 19-year-old Paul Dumbrell is